Welcome back. Time is 7:42. The future construction of Alligator Alcatraz in Florida is up in the air this morning after a judge heard new arguments. The complex is being used to hold detained immigrants.
Environmental groups and the local Muskogee tribe claims that the project threatens environmentally sensitive wetlands that are home to protected plants and animals. They also say the project would reverse billions of dollars worth of environmental restoration.
Joining us now to talk about both sides of the argument, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, break this down for us, because Florida was able to go forward with this without looking at the environmental concerns because of this emergency act for 2023 and 2023 for immigration. But are the environmental concerns of those valid? Could that actually put a stop to this?
I mean, that's the argument that they're making in front of the judge now. They're saying that back to injunction, Jason, I think we got to get a poster in the back that says injunction.
Yep.
But that's what we're having here is they're making the argument that even though there was something that allowed them to expedite this process, that you may have jumped over a couple hurdles, which is if I can prove the likelihood of success on the merits, and that's something I think will be a harder, easier portion to prove for the plaintiffs or petitioners. But the portion that I think where this one will be a slam dunk for them is that irreparable harm. You can't give animals money. You can't say, hey, panthers and alligators, I'm going to go ahead and pay you for the harm that I've created to your habitat. A number of these are protected, already protected by other things in place. And so if you point to that irreparable harm, something that money can't fix, it's going to be easy for the court to issue an injunction to at least stop this. I'm not saying that the underlying merits will be successful or not, but I truly think that if you're looking at that portion of it, that's going to be cut and dry. And then that balancing of the equities in the public policy. Public policy would want to put in place things to keep protecting animals that could potentially go extinct. And so if you're already on some protected list, there's numbers out there that are showing that if you don't create some protections for them, they will no longer exist. So creating something that destroys their natural habitat, where now they may be, as they mentioned in their petition, increased to killing each other, increased to being hit by vehicles, because now their habitat has shrunk from this larger size to a smaller size, is going to be problematic.
Okay, so I guess a two-part question. Do you see this lawsuit being legit and going forward? Do you see it forcing the state of Florida's hand in creating some alternative for, let's just use the 2,000 acres of panther habitat, for example? If they create an alternative for this area so that they have room to roam, will everything is okay? Can construction pick back up?
The easiest way I can describe it is when a judge is talking about like the not changing the scenario for a child when a child's asking for custody, or I should say a parent's asking for custody to be changed. It's always going to be looked at what's in the best interest of the child. It's going to be in the same situation here. If it's in the best interest of these animals to be moved or repositioned or placed in another location, then the judge will listen to experts that can talk on both sides to, yes, it won't have any drastic change, or yes, it will be drastic. That will be the arguments that will have to be uncovered. And then what type of harm will be caused? Will there be short-term harm? Will it be long-term harm? And both sides will bring in experts that talk about that as well. And so this will be an experts fest, people that are paid extremely well money to talk about these opinions in different types of courtrooms that are routinely not doing the work in the field, but are brought in to testify from an expert capacity of what impact these animals will either be, protected or should be protected.
Yeah, and we've already heard from both sides. Governor Ron DeSantis saying no impact at all. The environmental groups have another claim on that. But it's not just animals, as well as Jason mentioned, the Miccosukee tribe. They claim that this is a matter of tribal sovereignty, that they have land rights and say, okay, I understand that you have the 2023 immigration law that may allow you to expedite this, but you have to check with us first before you do anything on tribal lands. What's their claim?
I totally agree with that. I mean, you laid out the claim, and that's why the government is multiple times fighting to the left and to the right. So while the one hand they have the environmental folks, on the other hand, they have the Native Americans that are saying, you guys are impeding on our sovereign rights. And because you didn't even have a conversation with us, this was extremely rushed. Now, the irreparable harm on their side won't be as easy because you can fix that with money. Hey, we took something from you. We definitely wronged you in some capacity. We can pay you for your wrongs. So the injunction portion there, specifically the irreparable harm, will be harder for them to prove because money can fix it, even if you don't like it, even if you don't agree with what the judge says, or if you do agree, the financial component, specifically in an injunction, has to be, can money fix this or can it not? And specifically, irreparable harm, money can most of the time fix things unless it's something that can't be fixed by money.
Khalifa, as we're watching our neighbors to the south down in Florida go through this, and with the EPA and these lawsuits, there have been rumblings that South Carolina could create a Palmetto Pen, right, using some closed down corrections facilities to create another place for possible immigrants. Does this have any merit on what people in South Carolina could be going, ooh, if we do indeed want to try to make this happen? Yeah. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette, she's mentioned she would be involved in this. Do you think South Carolinians would be looking at, oh, we don't want to run into the same trap that Florida might be running into?
I think it would lay the foundation, at least for them to check and make sure that they have not done any type of environmental issues that will lead them to this same type of thing. But one thing I can tell you is lawsuits will also follow. I mean, the last thing I say is, I know we're wrapping up here, is that we've been in this situation before as a country. We had detention centers with wars in the past. Mm-hmm. This is a newfound place where we're creating these detention centers where there is no war. And so the long-term effects for that, not environmental, but humanitarianism, will come later after this, long after this.
Very good point there, Khalifa. Again, our chief legal analyst, Conley Frodes.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.